Okay, hi everyone. I'm here from To Get Their Connections. I'm here with Gerardo Amaya. He's my guest for today. I'm gonna have some spiritual conscious entrepreneurs conversations with extraordinary people or extraordinary entrepreneurs like Gerardo. Welcome, Gerardo.
Thank you for having me. Really excited to be here.
Yes, so we're gonna have few like a conversation with all the things that are going on in the world. What I want to give you guys, Gerardo wants to give you is tools for transformation. So all the tools that you, as a conscious and a spiritual entrepreneur, can use for this coming month, for the future. So I think this is a time that we can really think and transform. I can hear you. I can hear all the frustration, all the fear, and all the things that are going on in the world right now. So I want to help you have a stronger mind, a stronger mindset, so we as a community can conquer the future. But the only way that we can do this is actually working and building that muscle that we have in our minds. So right now I'm gonna read some stuff just because I have prepared some questions
Sure.
for the interview. So maybe so Gerardo, I was with all the things that are going on in the world, what are you doing with this time to keep yourself out of the of all this chaos that's going on in the world and actually making sure that your mind is strong for the future? So are you reading any kind of books that you can recommend to the community of To Get Their Connections?
Absolutely. So before I start kind of sharing my kind of the books that I'm reading right now, but one thing that is really helping me in this in this uncertainty times is I try not to like listen to the news all day long. I try to kind of focus and keep the structure of what I'm doing. Like the benefit of this is it's just a time change and a change in structure, but you should still be able to focus on your goals and allow a specific chunk of time through the day on what you're trying to do. Like for me, I would say it depends on the day. I feel less productive, more productive. It depends on how you stay at home and how do you work with the social distancing. But I try even for I would say my routine for reading hasn't changed that much. So that's kind of as a first step. But overall, what I'm reading right now, I read multiple books simultaneously. So I'm reading four, but the reason I'm reading four is I read one in audiobook format in the car. There's another one that I read in audio and print format, so I can read it fast. But long story short, I'm focusing on four areas. So the first book that I'm reading right now is called Creative Calling by Chase Jarvis. So that's an amazing story around how do you what's the real meaning of creativity, and what I like is the book presents the hypothesis that everyone is creative. Like the myth that some people are creatives or some people are just born creative is not true. Everyone is creative in many different ways. Sometimes might be that you're not doing the right thing, but even cooking a meal, even writing something, it's a creative act. So you need to
And
keep
that's
in.
actually incredible right now, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Uh,
And
Hello? Yes, we are back. Okay, we I lost
okay,
you for a minute, but
no, that's all
that's
right.
okay. Yeah, you were saying, so just to recap a little bit, you were saying that you were using kind of a structure to keep yourself in sanity, like do you have kind of a schedule, so you can not be on social media all this time?
Well, it's interesting. I don't know if anything transparently, and um, and when you share that transparently, you can say uh, with this list of people is the people that you're willing to share anything, but also means that you're willing to listen to anything they have to say. So what she normally says is from that list,
I will care about what these 3 to 5 people say and think about me. I will not care about the rest. And I kind of use the same technique, but I use it for kind of my personal life, but also for my digital life in social media. So I use the same, and I said there's a set of people that I'm willing to listen. So I mentioned that because Chase Jarvis, the author of the book, is one of them. So I have a list, and that's the only people that I listen to and consume information. If not, then the other thing is just noise. So it's easy for me to filter what's actually happening.
Because right now that's really important. We need to filter. I mean, we need to filter all this information that is coming from all different areas, that we just need to be selective now more than ever. We need to be selective with what we read, with the people that we call, with how we talk, all the books that we read, because I think this transformational time, in a way, was needed. I mean, we needed to
Oh,
be
yeah.
to stay home and actually connect, right? it, we as a conscious entrepreneur, we need to connect with ourselves to be able to produce more or to give more to the world. I mean, we need to be connected with our purpose. And the only way that we could have done that was to stop for a minute and be creative, as you said. Like, I mean, the book that you're reading about creativity is actually perfect for this time. We need
And you
to
mentioned
be,
and you mentioned
yeah,
something really important that I think we take for granted, which is to stop and reflect, right? It's very easy to get busy with anything. And that's what I kind of hear a lot with coworkers and friends is they are busy, but they don't feel that they're doing something meaningful.
yes.
And I think this is a good time for stop and reflecting. I think there's a lot of conversations around philosophy that one of the best ways for you to grow is to spend time with yourself, but reflecting, right? So even as as we're living this like in this new world, so to speak, it's very important to understand even around what is happening right now. What do you want to know? You want to get more educated about that? Is there opportunities? Like for me, it's a lot of point of reflection of how is this new world is going to look like from perspective of what we're doing right now, like working remotely, talking remotely. Now we're forced to do it, but for a lot of people has been really an alien concept, but it will
Yeah.
open doors in many different ways if you see the positive side of things, right?
No, and not only that, as a conscious entrepreneur, first of all, we need to be connected with ourselves to be able to deliver to the world, to help. I mean, everybody have a different purpose in life, but one of my purpose is to impact and to help as many people as I can to be happier. So one of the things that I want to do is that connection with myself. So that time that I'm gonna spend right now to keep creating that muscle that will allow me to to be better in the future, right? We were saying about how important it is to yeah, me perdí.
Hablamos de... Se me fue a mí también.
So one of the things that I wanted to ask is like give all the conscious entrepreneur the most tools that they can use to be successful in the future. Like right now, we are in a time that everything is shifting, transforming. But if we don't transform and we don't use this time as a transformation for ourselves, the world is going to transform without us. So we really need to be feeding our minds. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you is, so one of the what's one of the biggest challenge you think you're going as an entrepreneur that you're gonna have in the coming months? I mean, I know it's really uncertainty and you don't know But I think what in the spiritual world, what do you think is gonna be one of the biggest challenges that you're gonna have?
I think for me, one of the biggest challenges is I would say it's a combination of two things. Is how do you keep in like this uncertainty will create a lot of new opportunities, a lot of new you'll see a lot of different ways to do different things, and I think the biggest thing for me is how do you stay focused and how do you stay aligned to your purpose, because there's going to be a lot of temptations to go one side and do one different thing, or you will see someone succeeding or something because they're already doing they're doing something digital. Like not a couple of days ago I was talking with a few friends, and they were personal trainers and they were doing a lot of like gym memberships. So they own a gym, one person owned a gym, another person was a personal trainer, and they were having a lot of trouble now because no one, obviously because of social distancing, they
Yeah.
cannot work with anyone. And they were thinking, well, how do I start doing this digitally? What should I do? And the
So
challenge
yes.
there,
Hmm.
the challenge there is there's people that are already successful in the space, but it's people that set up a strategy. They were very patient. They started producing content, and now they're doing great. And this opportunity is now elevating that, right? So in the case if you're just starting in something new because you realize that there's an opportunity, keep focus. That's one thing. Keep distractions away because you'll get distracted on new things, but keep your focus on what your entrepreneurial idea was. And then the last one is be mindful and be patient that you need to catch up with the trend, right? If you're just starting, you're just starting. You're not gonna be a one-time success in 24 hours. And the successes that you're seeing is because there's people already thinking about this. And if you didn't think about this before, that's okay.
Yeah,
Just
that's okay.
start.
And one of the things that I see is more about mindset is just do it. Do it. I mean, how I have been working on mindset for many years now. And it's until now that I said, this is what I really want to do. I mean, I want to help people. Then the trend right now is going online. So I just did it. You just have to go
Yeah.
forward. You just have to do it. If you don't know, ask. Asking questions is amazing. And now we are connected. We are connected through that belief that we are not connected anymore. We are connected now more than ever. Yes, we don't have the physical, um, but we can communicate. We can express ourselves through an online platform, and actually we have the whole world open to us. And any questions that we have, we can just ask Google and well ask a friend. Most probably they will know. I think the most important thing or one of the transformational tools that maybe with this that with to overcome these challenges is go out of the box. Just don't be afraid and go out, go for it. Just put aside the fear and do it for a purpose. Do it to help people, to help others. If that's your purpose, if your purpose is another thing, just at least just think about it and be conscious about it. So in these times of transformation and these transformational tools, I would like to ask you another question. What's your extra? How are you bold? I mean, what's that thing that makes Gerardo who you are? And then how are you going to use that for the future?
That's actually a very good question. But normally, it's funny because I've been asked this question lately. I think it's probably where we're in this self-reflection mode. But I would say for me, there's two things. So one is I'm extremely curious. So curiosity is the one thing that I always use to my favor, right? So it's if I want to know about something, I will dig deeper, understand not only what it means, how to do it, like, and I'll connect curiosity with the second thing is always try to execute, but I always try to do something different. Like this is the most, for me, has been a lot of, I would say one of the key to my successes, which is being focused on the things that no one is paying attention. It's very tempting to go to the things that everyone is paying attention, but then everyone is there, is already commoditized. There's not too much value that you will get in return. And there's a lot of effort that you have to put. But if you're doing something unique or something that no one is thinking about, then you start building this knowledge, and then you become the very thing you want to be, right? You become the expert, you become the person with experience. And then when the time comes that this thing you're following matures, then you are already there. You know what to do, you know what to pursue, and then it's an easier way. But it takes some time to build that up. But I always say go against what everyone is following and try to find something that's
No, but
passionate.
that's an amazing transformational tool to have, like curiosity. Right now, anybody that has the curiosity to go online is gonna succeed in the future. I mean, we don't know how many months we are gonna be like that. So anybody that takes the risk, as you're saying, has the curiosity to do something different, then they are gonna do it. And yes, well, right now in these times, we just have to be different. We cannot merge ourselves in all the media that is happening. We have to be like aware, but we have to pick and choose. So thank you for those transformational tools. I think all our entrepreneurs, conscious entrepreneurs, are thinking that these tools are amazing. One of the things that we were talking about previously before this conversation was you have a transformational tool that is everything you read, you produce. Can you talk to me a little bit about that? I think that's amazing. So just
Sure.
you can explain it.
Sure, absolutely. And I think I'll use this opportunity also to give some background, because what was happening to me was, and I think it's a trap that a lot of entrepreneurs fall into, is there's what do they call it? It's basically trying to go to an analysis paralysis or going to perfection, is that you're consuming a lot of information, and there will always be more information. It's never enough. But I said, you know what? There's so many things that I want to share, that I want to do. How do I change this, right? And then I kind of realized that I was consuming a lot, but I was not producing a lot. So I created this sort of exchange rate, like it's money, right? But I said, for every piece of content that I consume, for every 2 pieces of content that I consume, I need to produce something back. And if that production could be a tweet, could be a conversation with friends, could be an article in my blog, like it doesn't matter. But that creates basically created a habit for me to not only retain what I was learning and consuming, but create some action with it, right? So it could be, because what I learned at the end of the day is a lot of these people we kind of call, I won't say experts, but they're truly experts, is because they absorb a topic and then they just go through, like the information goes through them, and then they just share something back. And I said, well, I want to be part of that. So that's kind of my method now, is I consume, but I also feel basically obliged to produce as well and share with everyone.
Not only that, like when you produce, you practice. Practice makes
Absolutely.
experts. So that's an amazing tool that I'm going to apply myself because I have been in the same boat. I mean, I have been reading. And now I said, you know what? It's time to produce, to give back. So now what I want is everything that I consume in the last years, I mean, how many books I have read about mindset, about how to live your life, how to be a happy life. And I do it and I apply it with myself. But I think now it's time to share with the world, to share with my friends, all the tools that I have so they can apply themselves and they can build a different mindset, because I mean, we will need them in the future.
Yeah.
We will need them. And as a conscious entrepreneurs, the more strong we are, the better it's gonna be in the future for this downside. I mean, it's gonna be economic situation, it's gonna be all that. So the more information we practice of all the things that we are consuming, then we will have more tools to be more creative, to produce
Absolutely.
something different or to go to a different route. But if we don't practice and if we don't go out of our box, we will never know how good we are or what we have to improve, right?
Absolutely. And the other important thing is for an entrepreneur, and I think now it's more socialized, but entrepreneurship is a very lonely profession. So if you're even the head of your business or the head of your startup or even just you, you spend a lot of time with yourself. Like you might interact with people, but sometimes it's more like solving problems for people. So having a very conscious, like you mentioned, a lot of consciousness, which is great, is having the awareness of what you are, what you can do, how you can improve. It's really what you need, and those self-reflection moments are really important because like for entrepreneurship is very difficult, and I don't say that in a very negative way, it's in a positive way. There's a lot of difficulties, but that's why you have passion and you have purpose, because nothing will stop you, right?
Yeah, no, nothing will stop if you have a reason why you are doing what you are doing. You can be in any field you want. I mean, conscious as entrepreneur doesn't mean that you
Yeah,
have to be in healing or any type of like yoga. No, it can be any person that is doing something with a purpose. I mean, with something in their with something deeper in their selves, right?
yeah,
You are doing what you're
absolutely.
supposed to be doing in your life, and then that fulfills you. So that will when you work on that and you work in your purpose and you work on the things that you really want, you conquer any fear, you take action, and then you have the ability for transformation. I mean, when the worst time comes, you can transform yourself and then start over and be successful,
Yeah,
right? But you just have
absolutely.
to keep building that muscle. So that's why we are creating I'm creating a system on how to help all these people approach any problems. I mean, any problems that you may have. So we will help them to create a system on all the different strategies on how to take the problems and change it into situations. And everything is about perspective, right? I mean, the
Absolutely.
perspectives of your life and where what your focus is it is what you're gonna learn or where you're gonna go.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, to wrap up this conversation, it was amazing. Thank you. All the tools that we got
No, thank
is
you.
what is your message for all the entrepreneurs? Like, what can you give them that will help them now in the next 3 months to overcome all this craziness that is happening in the world?
Absolutely. I think, well, there's many things, but I think the most important thing um, that every entrepreneur needs to know is that I think entrepreneurs are not born, they're built. And I think that's the most important thing. And when I say that is because that's one of the negatives of all this digital content around is we tend to see entrepreneurs in magazines, in stories, in social media, but we just tend to see the last part of their success, right? Just when they're famous, just when they're successful, they're rich, all that. And we tend to forget what's the backstory behind it, right? And in reality is every single person that is successful, I think that's what I've been learning from reading from entrepreneurs and talking to creative people is every person has to put on the work. And if they don't know something, for me this is one of the most powerful things. When someone tells you you're not good at something, it's a privilege. It's not a bad thing, but it's an opportunity to get better and to find a better version of yourself. And you might think that right now you're 20 years away of being a successful entrepreneur or a skilled entrepreneur. Every entrepreneur started the same way. You just need to build yourself one step at a time. So if you wake up every morning and you become, let's say today, by end of day, you are a better version of yourself, you're on the right track. But it has to be built. It needs work. It's not DNA, it's not personality, it's not IQ. Maybe those things are 5% of the whole thing, but really 95% is the work you do, how hard you try, but how bad you want it, basically.
Yes, basically everything comes to, you just have to go for it and practice.
Absolutely.
Practice makes perfect. So if we want to have a successful business, we just have to practice and go for it. And I invite all of you to use this time to really connect with yourself now more than ever. So all conscious entrepreneur, connect. Then think about how you can reinvent your company, how you can think of different ways on how you can put your company online. There are many ways you can teach. If you have a specific expertise, there are ways that you can teach and help others. I'm sure many people want to hear from you. Let's help each other. I invite you to be a community, be supporting each other. Don't talk about each other, just support each other.
Yeah.
Let's help, let's deliver, let's read something positive and stay positive. Thank you, Gerardo, for being here. That was amazing conversation.
No, this is
You
great.
have so many tools, and I'm sure we will have many more conversations. To all of you out there, we will have a conversation every day, and we are giving you all these tools for transformation that we all needed right now. Like right now, I'm getting many tools from Gerardo that I'm gonna apply in my daily basics. So thank you, and stay tuned for many more transformation conversations. Thank you.
No, thank you for the time.